What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Blade, and we're back. Some more disturbing YouTube video reactions. Today we got a requested one from my boy, Mr. Eli VX, who has been asking for the Roblox Yapmaster most disturbing crimes that happened in the Roblox community. This is for you, Mr. Eli. Not looking forward to this because I know it's gonna be bad, and this is a super long video, so lock in, get your dinner, get your lunch, get your breakfast, get your popcorn, whatever time you're watching this at. Get ready, it's gonna be a long one. So without further ado, make sure to like and subscribe. Road to 1,000 subs. Let's get it.
These are the most disturbing crimes that happen in the Roblox community, and as the video progresses, the individuals will only get more terrifying. Inhe, also known as Tyler, was a considerably popular Roblox YouTuber with over 100,000 subscribers, while also being a community manager of one of the platform's popular games at the time, Toilet Tower Defense. But just as his channel started getting momentum in 2024, it came to an expected halt, due to one certain individual discovering all the things he's been doing hidden from public view. On May 22nd, 2024, a well-known YouTuber and Roblox critic named Ruben Sim.
This guy's like the GOAT for Roblox PDF file hunting. I've seen his videos before.
Who's known for exposing misconduct and controversies in the game community, would post a tweet saying, "One of the games in Roblox' upcoming classic event is managed in part by a person who's attracted to young humans. Inhe is the community manager for Toilet Tower Defense. He targeted a vulnerable year-old in the middle of a breakup to take advantage of her in indecent ways for several months over Discord." This post would also come with tons of screenshots revealing inappropriate conversations between Tyler, who's 20 at the time, and an individual who was under the age of 18. Among these messages was one from July 7th, 2023, where Tyler would be seen talking to a year-old girl with name Melanie, who seemed to be breaking up with her boyfriend during this period. "Chill out, there's so much more for you, I guess, but I feel like I was only made to be someone's girlfriend. That's not it at all." Since then, Tyler and Alani would continue to talk to each other from time to time, but just 5 months later, on December 2nd, he would start to send these kinds of messages to Alani. "Must do it. Must make Alani have my child. Grr. Who's daddy's good girl? Who's daddy's good girl?" It's important to know that at this time, Tyler had actually told Alani that he was 20, 4 entire months prior to this conversation. But in the same day, he would state his disgusting intentions to her. He's seen saying, "How about you don't talk for a little, get used to it, and I'll tell you when to talk. We're gonna make you become a big girl today." To which Alani replies with, "What even am I supposed to say? Sounds like a plan? Don't you dare keep me waiting. Grr. What if I do? Yes, daddy, is the only thing that should come out of your mouth." This expose quickly circulated across not just on Twitter, but on the Roblox community as well, and as a result, the game decided to terminate Tyler's account on its platform. Ruben would also state that the company needs to care about user safety more than just when it impacts their brand image, as they had ignored his report regarding Tyler, and only once took actions after he posted the evidence that he sent to them for everyone to see. Tyler, on the other hand, would go on to show the ban message of his account on Discord, displaying that his account has been moderated for violating their terms for use of inappropriate content or behavior, to which he said, "I don't know what I did." Following the situation,
Really? Really, you don't know what you did? Okay, buddy.
Tyler also had his community manager role on Toilet Tower Defense, as well as a staff position in the game taken away from him. However, this wouldn't end here. Days later, after the tweet exposing Tyler was published, Ruben would make another post stating, "The Inhe situation is getting worse. I was sent evidence last night that he paid a year-old, who we'll call as Eva, 1,000 Robux to engage in inappropriate acts with him on Roblox in a condo game." To put that into perspective, Robux is the platform's virtual currency, and 1,000 of it is worth about $12 in real money. And as it turned out, on October 31st, 2023, during the time that Tyler was in contact with Alani, he would also engage in questionable conversations with Eva. The screenshot would start off with them seeming to be doing a rock, paper, scissors game, and after Tyler would win, Eva would go on to say, Wow, young person, your turn, I just turned 20. Their usual conversations would just continue, and a few weeks later, Tyler appeared to be negotiating with Eva on how much Robux she would get for her to agree to participate in indecent roleplays with him in the said Roblox condo game. Nope, I'll buy it when we go. I want 2k then. No, we agreed on 1k, 1.5k, 1k. What are you building? Are you working on my game? You're getting 1k Robux and a free intimate session. You should be happy. Eventually, Tyler and Eva would join the game and engage in these inappropriate roleplays with each other. He would give her instructions on the game chat, and when he would start doing horrific things to her game avatar, he would say, "Good girl." Shortly after leaving the game, Tyler would buy Eva's in-game clothes on the Roblox store to pay her with the money. A few days would pass, and another conversation between them would start off with Eva requesting Tyler for more Robux, to which she replied with, "Are you gonna go back with me then for it?" "Yes." "Well, I can't till later anyways. You also have to VC me tonight." Although what exactly happened immediately afterwards is unknown, Tyler would later be seen messaging Eva on a random date, asking, "What hand do you use? For, you know, raised eyebrow emoji, shaking salt? Right. What about doing inappropriate things? LOL." With all of this evidence out in public, Tyler's name as well as his online career had been completely destroyed now. And while he didn't face any legal consequences for his actions, he wouldn't have the platform to exploit anyone ever again, at least hopefully. This next individual though almost got away.
Why can't these people just not talk to underage girls? What? Like, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Once they reveal their age, you say, "Stop talking to me." Okay? You say, "Stop." Go on Discord and you go to their username and you click block and you go on with your day. This guy just lost. Bro, I know how much these people be making on Roblox when you make a freaking map, yo. This guy could have been a multi-millionaire Roblox map creator and he just threw it all away. 100k subs, could have got to 1,000,000 subs. Throw it all away for freaking iOS 15.
Way with what he did.
Kelligish actually had a girlfriend at the time that he was in a somewhat public relationship with, but why would he ruin not only his relationship, but his career and everything he has dreamt of, all for a 15-year-old girl he met on Discord?
Kelvis Garmanian, otherwise known online as Kellogish, was an incredibly popular Roblox YouTuber in the early 2000s.
How do you have all this clout, you become this famous and then you just throw it all away? 500,000 subscribers. You know how many people would want 500,000 subscribers right now? Me. And to throw it all. And you had a girlfriend. Why? Why do you do this to yourself? You have a girlfriend and then you go for a freaking iOS 15? Even though you have of age woman?
20s. And with how his family-friendly content gained a huge amount of attention within the community, he eventually rose to fame due to a combination of a series on the game Friday Night Funkin' and especially Roblox simulator games. As time went by, his energetic and entertaining persona would allow him to reach even greater heights in his online career. Roblox itself even recognized his success and invited him into the Roblox Star program, a program reserved only for the top creators. And by August 2021, he had amassed over 500,000 subscribers, cementing his status as one of the most notable Roblox YouTubers of the time. But unknowingly to him, this would be his final moments of success. On August 20th of the same year, another Roblox YouTuber who went by SpyroTunes would post an unsettling video on the platform entitled, "This Roblox / Friday Night Funkin' YouTuber is a danger to young people, Kellogish." From here, this would trigger.
Damn, bro, we have the low-key YouTuber exposing the biggest Roblox content creator.
A negative chain of events on Kelvis, and what he did would all publicly come to light. It all began in late 2018, when a conversation between an 18-year-old Kelvis and a 15-year-old girl named Pyronet would take place. Although it wasn't clear exactly how they first met, Pyro would first be seen confronting Kelvis about the time he had previously dated a 15-year-old, to which he replied, "There's a reason I said yes to her. She doesn't act like at all. She's very mature for her age. Of course I do wait until she's until 18 for other stuff.
From here, things would only get worse. In the span of a year, they would start developing a romantic connection with each other. And on November 25th, 2019, Calvis would even state his unspeakable intentions with Pyro.
But yeah, if I was dating a year old when I'm 18 to 19, I wouldn't get intimate until like you were to 18.
His act of outright relaying his desire to take advantage of her would continue over the following months. And then on April 4th, 2020, he would level up the things he would say to Pyro.
You would also be the perfect height for doing things to me, just saying. Perhaps? No, it's true.
A day later, Calvis would then tell Pyro about wanting to engage in inappropriate activities, with her in a changing room of a clothing store, with their chats being,
I want to do things to you. Yes, I can see us being intimate in a changing room of a clothing store. How romantic. I like being a bit risky.Eye peeking emoji. Literally what we're doing is risky, lol. I love you a ton, babe.
and he would even double down on wanting to be intimate with Pyro.
I'm starving. Eat my... Someone's being inappropriate. When am I not?
Moments later, he would also admit that he was aware of what he was doing.
Trust me, what I'm doing is very basic. Let's just say inappropriate texting, babe. Maybe you just don't want to see me in that way, which is sad, but it is what it is.
Even with this fact, Calvis revealed himself even more by begging for inappropriate requests and admitting that he'd already asked for this kind of thing before.
I mean, I'll still appreciate pictures, cute emoji, but I won't be like asking for them so much as before. If you send them, just know I love them so much. Heart symbol. Do it at your own pace for now. Heart emoji. I'll send you when I feel good. Do you ever feel good, lol? But yeah, for now we should just spend more time texting. Maybe even VC sometimes to get closer. I think I'll know over time when I can be inappropriate with you. Heart symbol. Just know I'll still be fantasizing a lot to you though. Eye peeking emoji.
Shortly after, Pyro would finally start voicing her own opinions about this.
I'm not that comfortable with it because I don't know what to say back. And like I definitely do have intimate
Alright. Got interrupted, but we're back.
feelings for you, but like typing it out or reading it is weird to me.
However, Calvis would only insist on what he wants her to do, with him replying,
Well, you definitely know how to tease, and you have a body that could be used for revealing pictures, babe. And I'm being honest about me finding you attractive. If you aren't good with words, then what about unclothed pictures, babe?
This would pressure Pyro even more, and not knowing any better at her age, she gives in. Calvis, on the other hand, would push his request even more.
I don't know, I can do that once in a while, not on command though. Well, you didn't let me save the inappropriate pic, cute emoji. All I have are teasing pics that I don't even want to say how many times I fantasized to.
What makes this even worse is that Calvis actually had a girlfriend at the time, that he's in a public relationship with, and it wouldn't take long until his partner would also take notice of their conversations. Deciding to reach out to Pyro, she would ask her what was going on between the two of them, and after that she would confront Calvis herself, which would end with him only denying even knowing Pyro in the first place.
After that, she confronted Mr. Kel, but he denied even knowing her in the first place. That's wow, that's just crazy, man. Then who's the that you're every night?
But now that his actions are finally starting to catch up to him, Pyro herself would also address him about the issue. Afraid that this entire situation would ruin his online career, he tries to make Pyro an offer to keep her quiet about his actions. Unfortunately, after discovering that Calvis had a girlfriend this whole time while he was taking advantage of her, Pyro had enough of this, thus finally confronting him on his actions and ending their relationship entirely.
You've changed. You're still as manipulative. Shows him their past conversation. I don't know. I don't really recognize that person anymore. Recognize it. Cause it's you, dog.
With this, it wouldn't be long until he would get defensive and start denying anything that happened, with Pyro saying,
I'm not wrong. You're only looking out for yourself. Not really. But how would you know? My god, cut the gaslighting, please. What does even gaslighting mean? It means you're manipulative.
After this conversation, Pyro would finally cut contact with Calvis. It's also at this time when she would reach out to Spyro in his Discord server, where she would bring up all the things that Calvis had done to her.
Just a couple of days ago, Pyronet and I were just shooting the in my Discord server when she brought up that she had some dirt on an unnamed Roblox influencer. Me being myself, I took massive interest into it, and we jumped into DMs immediately. She told me the full story of what had happened, the horrible shit had said to her, and how he basically got away scot-free.
This led to both of them reporting Calvis on Discord, which caused the platform to launch an investigation against him.
From there, I convinced her to speak out about what had happened, and our first plan of action was to message Discord, because I mean, he was in their partner program. Surely they wouldn't want a Discord partner doing those horrible things to on their platform.
Use a Discord partner to... I don't know what to say to these people. You have it all, and you just throw it away. He He literally had a girlfriend, but he wanted more. He wanted more. I don't get it, bro. I feel like it's like a mental disorder. These PDF files, it's like a mental disorder that's like linked to like porn. Like they be watching too much pornography and then just spirals. I've said this before in other videos with PDF files. I feel like because let me explain to you how pornography works to the human brain. So the more you watch, the more messed up stuff your brain will crave. Because that's how it works. You're gonna watch like normal stuff, and then your brain is gonna be like, this is boring. And your brain and your genitals are connected, okay? When your brain tells you that this normal vanilla stuff is boring, then your genital is gonna be like this. Okay? It's gonna be like this. It's not gonna be like this anymore, it's gonna be like this. It's both connected. So then you look for disgusting stuff. You're gonna get, there's gonna be layers and you're gonna keep going worse and worse and worse. And then you get to this. This is the pits of hell. And then you only watch this. And then your genital will work again, but you're looking at the most disturbing, disgusting stuff. That's how this stuff works. Keep watching the same stuff, your brain's gonna be like, this is boring. And then your thing's gonna be like, this is boring as well. And it's gonna. Then you go to the worse and worse stuff, then it's gonna come back up. But then the cycle's gonna repeat, and then it's gonna be like, okay, this is boring. And you're watching the most disturbing, disgusting thing that any other human would look at you and be repelled by your filthy, dark brain. And then you go even, and then you get to this level, and then you just ruin your life.
And a few days later, Spyro would then publish the video calling out Kelvis on how he took advantage of a 15-year-old girl. And in a very short amount of time, Kelvis would inevitably get flooded with backlash, as well as get his Discord partnership revoked, including from his server with tens of thousands of members in it. And on September 1st of 2021, the Roblox RTC Twitter account, which documents news and updates about the platform and its community, would tweet out,
It's confirmed that Kellogish has been removed from the Video Star program and his Roblox account was terminated. His star code no longer works.
this would fortunately leave Kelvis with no chance of reviving his career or returning to the platform, or so we thought. On November 13th, not even 3 months after Kelvis was banished from the internet, a new Roblox YouTuber would start to gain a lot of attention under the username Koofy, and
He just changed his alias and he just blew up.
with how his content would constantly blow up in popularity amongst young people, he too would eventually garner over 500,000 subscribers by June of 2022. It's also at this time where he would collaborate with another creator named Kaka V420, who's also
Bro, what kind of name is that, bro? Why? Why would you put that as your name?
too would eventually garner over 500,000 subscribers by June of 2022. It's also at this time where he would collaborate with another creator named Kaka V420, who's also a Roblox YouTuber.
You know what that means? That means poo. That means poo in Tamil. I'm Tamil. And that means poo. Your name is shit. Shit 420.
Were widely known for his meme videos on the game. The two would link up in almost every video, which ultimately helped Koofy reach 2 million subscribers by August 25th of the same year. However, this amount of success would only go to waste. On September 8th, 2024, Kaka would release a video titled
The end of
Oh my god, he's gonna keep saying that guy's name. And it's gonna turn to try not to laugh.
Goofy.
Although the video would start off detailing about the two's journey together in their careers, Kaka would go on to talk about having certain
Okay, I'm grown ass man laughing at this kid. Stop laughing. Okay?
suspicions about where Goofy came from.
I could never quite figure out where Goofy came from. He seemed to know all the dramas too well, was a natural at creating content, was surprisingly good at Funky Friday, and had a weird obsession with playing simulator games 24/7. Every piece of information led me to a dead end.
It would also appear that Goofy had revealed to Kaka that he was a 23-year-old man from Germany, and with this fact in mind, along with information Goofy had shared about himself and the way he carried himself online, it would serve as a very clear resemblance to Kelogish, who was also a man from Germany.
There is a clear line between character and individual. I don't look like my character IRL, and neither does Goofy. Every time we interacted, it was like we were the same characters from the videos, but occasionally I caught a glimpse of Goofy's true self beyond the character. From his age to his home country, I now had a rough idea of who this guy could be in real life.
But after giving this information, Goofy would suddenly stop being active on Discord and YouTube altogether. And with that, Kaka would take it upon himself to confirm whether Goofy was truly Kelogish all along. On one occasion following his investigation, he would remember having access to Goofy's analytics in his YouTube channel. He started searching for any useful information he could find, and it wouldn't take long for him to discover this.
Goofy had shared his analytics with me, allowing me to see every piece of analytic on his channel, right down to his blocked keywords. And what do you know?
Oh, his name. And then PDF, variants of PDF. Flamingo. Copied. Fave, millennial. Why is that? And then his name.
After gathering all of this evidence, Kaka was completely sure that Goofy was Kelogish, and once Kelogish would start being active again, Kaka would finally confront him once and for all.
This was the day I decided to finally confront him.
Yo, you're alive. What's good, man? How you been?
I've recently noticed the hidden keywords on your channel, added up the stuff you told me about yourself, the people you associate yourself with, and figured out who you really are. I'm not gonna expose you or tell anyone, but I don't think I'd like to associate with you any longer.
As Kelogish would try to explain himself out of the situation, it would serve to be of no use, with the amount of proof against him, and eventually Kaka would convince Kelogish to delete his Discord account, as well as cutting off any contact with him.
He talked, and he tried explaining himself, hoping to stay in contact with me, but it was no use. I was going to cut him off regardless of what he said. In the end, we agreed he would delete his Discord account and stop including me in his videos. I cut him off for good.
And with this video released for the entire internet to see, many well-known Roblox YouTubers reacted, prompting millions of people to learn Goofy's true identity and his past actions towards young people, leaving him again with no platform to exploit anyone once again. But unlike him, this next person not only committed these horrible acts himself, but also influenced an entire server to believe they were normal.
Another friend of Gooby got Phoebe to send an explicit image of herself, and he sent that in the public server, which I believe was Gooby's server, which is literal CP.
Monster behind the server.
Just Gooby, also referred to by many as John, was a Roblox YouTuber with about 16,000 subscribers, known for his gaming content on the platform, alongside fellow creator Napkin Nate. While working together, Gooby would gain a bit of popularity, particularly due to Nate promoting his channel in nearly every video. But in August of 2020, Nate would suddenly stop uploading videos. Fans, wondering what happened, started digging and suddenly discovered that he was facing multiple allegations, including him not paying a designer for virtual items he sold on Roblox, and supposedly being arrested for domestic violence against a family member. To add to the mystery, Gooby would appear in a video by Roblox YouTuber Nitso, saying Nate stalked and abused him, and didn't pay him properly even after 10-hour recording sessions. As a result, people in the Roblox community would start digging even deeper to see if all of this was actually true, only to uncover even darker and more disturbing things done by Gooby. On December 8, 2019, Gooby and his Discord members were seen harassing other people's servers by raiding them for no reason whatsoever. While doing so, some of his people would spam highly provocative remarks and even upload explicit photos and videos involving young people. You gotta keep in mind the majority of people in the server and the servers affected were already under the age of 18, and even though they were aware of this, they would still continue on with what they were doing regardless. A few months later, Gooby would also be seen saying very inappropriate things about certain animals in his own server, as well as inviting his members to expose other people's private and personal information, which he would also direct towards young humans and other YouTubers. For example, on one occasion, Gooby, under the username God and G$, and another user named Still Winning, talk about doxing a young girl and saying some indecent things towards her. His behavior of encouraging others to do these kinds of acts would result in many unaware people getting their identities and home addresses leaked, and even a 13-year-old boy getting his router broken by Gooby's moderator. To make matters worse, Gooby and his moderators would also harass another 13-year-old boy known as Liam from YouTube. They would say a lot of vile things to Liam, such as,
You Liam, and you other people watching those videos, I hope you leave this earth, you fat. I hate black since I'm racist. Hey Liam, Gooby sent us after you. Liam, if you're reading this, I like men and I will violently assault you.
And once Liam had started to bring awareness on Twitter about Gooby's influence on these people, Gooby would just outright block him. On June 6, 2020, Gooby would also admit to receiving an explicit photo from a young girl named Phoebes. In this particular conversation on their server, he would say,
Bro, Phoebes sent me the cutest ever and I'm melting. I guess unclothed photos can be cute, but...
Aside from this, Phoebes would also reveal later on that Gooby had actually encouraged her to date online and hooked her with another guy in his server to date her.
Bro, give me 2 days with Phoebes. I'm finna get it for free. No cap. I'm a player.
And 2 days later, after another moderator replied to his message,
Do it. Done. Sends photo.
Given how Gooby had influenced the server to commit such despicable acts, it's not surprising that he engaged in them himself. He would send inappropriate pictures of himself to a lot of young people over Snapchat, along with disgusting messages about them. Even worse, he and some of his friends would post highly obscene materials involving small humans, NSFW content, inappropriate and gore videos, and even unclothed photos of himself within his own server.
Yeah, I told you. Corn addiction does this. See the category? We have anime corn. We have, I don't know how to change the name of this one, but you already know by looking at that. And he put his own stuff on there. This is what happens when you have power. When you have power and clout, and you power trip, this is what happens. Sometimes it's for good people, and then for bad people, they just do this stuff.
A member of a server named JC Dorsainville would also confirm this to be true, saying,
Gooby himself used to post gore and explicit content frequently in a server full of small humans.
Soon after, a few members checked whether this was true, and they found chat logs of Gooby allowing these kinds of materials on his server. And if that wasn't bad enough already, a screenshot also surfaced of Gooby sending an explicit photo and an animated indecent image to a young person. And he would also seen by defending his weird beliefs by saying,
Technically, loli is legal.
A month later, Gooby would also take his level of depravity even further.
I'm glad you hurt your sister. Your little sis too young to handle it? I see. Yo, do you cover things up after? Or do you just mess with your little sister? Can I do the same to you?
These are just some of the massive amounts of disgusting messages that Gooby had plagued his server with. And as if that weren't enough, he and his moderators would also interact with an underage individual we'll call Joy on Snapchat. Their conversation logs would start with Gooby's friend named Stefano saying,
Can I do an inappropriate act with you? Is it a yes or no? No, but the age of consent there is what? You're down bad. But when you're 18, can I? No, not even when I'm 18.
After this would happen, Gooby would also be discovered to have done this kind of thing, except he went for people much younger.
Gooby had Alexa on Snap. Alexa, who is and Gooby 20.
On top of that, another young person who we'll call Megan would also come out on her inappropriate interactions with Gooby on a video expose of a YouTuber named Destructor on Gooby himself.
He's a PDF. That I know. So has Gooby done anything to you recently? He added me on Snapchat years ago and would text inappropriate things. He thinks it's some sort of joke. And I at the time was really young. But looking back now, what said was gross. He'd call me mommy and begged me to send a picture of me for him. What did he do to you? He pretty much tried to take advantage of me. Luckily he didn't try and meet up. up, but I've had suspicions.
But it didn't stop here. Gooby would even take advantage of young people over Discord as well, such as making disgusting requests of them every time he would get them on a voice call with him. An individual who we'll refer to as Irie had this to say.
Any names you know he's taken advantage of and manipulated by any chance? What was Gooby like in his Discord server? Gooby acted as if he was a god for his server and encouraged toxicity. He also posted NSFW and gore. I also saw him post illicit materials involving small humans before, and he did mention that he had a lot of unclothed pictures from young people in his server. Did they try harassing, doxing, anything like that to you after you left? No, but if they found out I was telling on them, they probably would. I did see the moderators there dox a lot of people, and they encouraged to.
Another
This is why Discord is also so bad, because there's too many people that can just. The thing is, they can just do this stuff, and no one's gonna find out until someone exposes them. That's a big problem with Discord servers. You can make these servers, and then put these stuff on the server, and they could get away with it. Until someone exposes them, no one's gonna know. That's like a huge problem with Discord that I've noticed. That there's too many servers like that. They gotta crack down on that. Like there has to be some sort of, I don't know what, but I don't know, there has to be some secret moderator on Discord when you open up a server that identifies it as like, that is not safe for work, plus you're going to jail. Delete server. And then the server just auto nukes itself. But yeah, this is just terrible, man. These people get away with it too, and that's the biggest problem. So let's see how they crack down on these disgusting humans.
victim, who we'll refer to as Selena, would also state,
He asked me for unclothed pictures when I was underage. Of course, when I told him no, he was playing it off as a joke. He would also talk about me doing inappropriate things to him. I never sent him anything, nor did I do anything indecent with him, but he would always push for something out of me, whether it would be a selfie of me or just hear my voice. Outside of those kinds of pictures, what immoral things Scooby did to you recently? He didn't do anything. He would just talk about me doing stuff to him very explicitly. Like what exactly? Like doing inappropriate things to him and sitting on a slab. Yeah, I remember he would do that a lot. When Gooby did this, how old were you when it happened? I was either,
in addition to all of that, another person we'll call Carla would say,
This was years ago. I'll admit I used to be a fangirl of him in Napkin Nate, but it scarred me. Gooby advertises Discord for fans, and I've never used it before, but I joined it. He knew I was a girl and he flirted with me. The word, inappropriate word, was said frequently by him and his moderators. I asked him how old he was, and he said he was 20. He didn't show his face at the time, but Gooby was inappropriate and would flirt with tons of girls in the server, while to the guys he would be toxic or rude to them.
and another individual who we'll call Gwen would also state,
We talked when I was about I'm now, but let's just say I do live in fear, because he does have pictures of me. If I refuse to show him pictures, he would tell me he would leak my face, leak my information, or even dox me. Several times he would ask me for my address to come see me, but I would always go around the question. Me and him would call recently, because I was manipulated too, and this one call it was going as usual, begging for unclothed pictures and etc etc. Then he randomly made a group, he invited me to it. Then like 4 other guys were there, and they started saying it was a joke, and I obviously wasn't. I think the 2 of them were even doing inappropriate things to themselves. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, these guys, I have a new conclusion. These guys never had a girlfriend at all. That's my new conclusion, because what woman of their age would want them? Because they're just sick individuals, so they have to do this to get what they want. Because no woman of their own age will date them because how freaking gross they are.
I left the call and then Gooby started texting, why did you leave?
these are only a handful of cases compared to the overwhelming number of people who came forward about his actions. And on top of it all, Gooby and some of his server members would also admit to owning inappropriate content involving little humans. They would talk about having these materials in their server's public chat, and once confronted, he would yet try again to justify his immoral behavior.
It's only an attraction to small humans if it's multiple people. If it's only one person and no one else, it's naughty, weirdo.
To make everything even more disturbing, Gooby and his friends allegedly forced a young girl to leave this earth. There's
Jail. Electric chair, bro. Bring back the electric chair. This is... Why did I do this, bro? Why did I watch this video?
evidential proof such as funeral photos of this anonymous individual, which I obviously won't show uncensored. If this is true, I want to offer my condolences to the girl's family, and I hope that Gooby or whoever was responsible will be brought to justice. On May 27, 2023, YouTubers such as The Dark Creeper, Destructor, and the Risk God Linguine, whose channel had now been terminated for unknown reasons, would work together to investigate Gooby's entire situation, as well as figuring out a way to get him arrested. Eventually, they claim to have discovered Gooby's possible real identity and location, though nothing has been officially confirmed. Following this, they would eventually come across somebody who had valuable information about Gooby, named Nitso, the same person who was one of the people to come out about Nate allegedly being arrested.
So first of all, I want to check the validity of the claim that you're like going around to these Gooby videos and claiming that 60% of it's wrong. Is that your account? Is that you?
Yeah.
What 60%'s wrong with the video?
The thing about him being a doxing and like, you know, saying the N-word, maybe the hard R. How do you know a lot of that is like facts?
I have mountains of Discord screenshots. I've been trying to contact people that can disprove any of these screenshots. He openly talks about CP being traded in his Discord server. How is that? How is that taken out of context?
He sent like CP stuff.
There was blatant on his server. He's made comments on his server about it being sent to him.
Seeing how Nitso was insisting that the videos exposing Gooby contained screenshots that were taken out of context, the three YouTubers would then address the huge amounts of conversation logs that will leave Gooby no way in justifying all the things that he said.
Do you just like not trying to be disrespectful, obviously? Do you guys just not have anything to do?
You're asking why I'm doing this. It's because don't f with. Do you like to f with? Is that why it's so hard for you to grasp?
No, obviously not.
And whenever they would ask Nitso to back up his claim,
Bro, why did he even ask that? That's hella sus. You trying to defend this man. Why the hell why do you not care?
that the screenshots were either fabricated or taken out of context, he would keep saying that he couldn't give an explanation for reasons he couldn't say. And when more videos against Gooby were being uploaded, it didn't take long for him to finally respond.
People blame me for Napkinate quitting YouTube and think they have a sense of justice in terms of these false allegations towards me. They take everything I say out of context, and there can be proof provided if needed for each thing taken out of context. I can admit I was edgy, but these allegations about me are completely untrue. They will literally just take things out of context. Also, they Photoshop and not provide the messages beforehand of the conversations that would easily prove that these allegations are false.
He would then go on to say the people who made videos about him were spreading misinformation and tricking others into believing them. And not long after, the Dark Creeper would make a statement replying to this, saying,
"How could any of this evidence be photoshopped? Multiple victims have come out about Gooby and his friends. So okay, we're now saying that all of those victims are lying? That's just a shitty excuse to justify his behavior. The response was just bad in general, and was just a poor attempt to justify his criminal behavior."
As soon as these allegations would get a bit of attention, Gooby would private his Twitter account and completely stopped uploading videos on his YouTube channel, while deleting some of his videos for unknown reasons as well. He hasn't responded to any of this ever since. And with these YouTubers trying to find out the truth and get him behind bars, he doesn't have the ability of roaming the internet without having his name connected to these allegations anymore. But this wasn't the case for the next person, who carried out his predatory intentions beyond the screen.
Don't tell me this person like finds the girl.
A video of him being to his year-old and even drove hours to meet up with the year-old and R-worded them.
How dumb are these iOS 15, iOS 16 girls? Like you're playing Roblox and you escalate the whole conversation to the point where you give the person your home address for them to meet up with you. Never in my life when I was 14 or 15 would I do this type of stupidity.
Juke was a rising content creator who had over 13,000 subscribers on YouTube at the time, and a considerable amount of followers on Twitch as well. But just when his popularity was starting to get more traction due to his content revolving around famous Roblox FPS games such as Phantom Forces and Bad Business, his actions would become the sole reason why his life would completely change forever. In late August of 2021, a 15-year-old girl who we'll refer to as Sophie began to frequently talk with Juke, who's 21 during this time, over Discord. The conversations continued, and it wasn't until October 18th that they began interacting more actively. On that day, Sophie would be seen requesting to join Juke's server, which he would agree to, and after a while, that conversation shifted to Juke wanting to send more pictures, which could be considered as suggestive content of a creature's mouth wide open. Juke himself was aware that this could be inappropriate to send to someone who he didn't even know the age of, asking,
I don't know. Answer this. How old are you? Okay, maybe you shouldn't, because I'm...
Despite this, Juke insists, saying that it doesn't show anything weird except for an open jaw, and Sophie agrees. And shortly after, Juke sends images, and their messages begin to take a turn to something entirely different.
Hey, come on, you can cuddle with me. That sounds really nice. Right now, this pillow isn't very warm or fluffy. I'm both of those things, surprisingly. Heh, cutie. Rubs the back of your head and down your back softly.
Oh, they're role playing. They're RPing in the Discord chat.
About 20 minutes later into their conversation, their chats get increasingly inappropriate, with them starting to engage in intimate roleplay.
God. Y'all need Jesus, bro. Y'all need Jesus. You know what's crazy? Probably some AI chatbot that can do this for you now.
And soon after, Juke is seen becoming very direct with what he wants to do with her.
I bite my lip hard as I rear my head and grip your head, pushing you closer against me. I close my eyes, sniffling deeply as I go along with it. Yeah, I push once more and let it all out, breathing heavily, my tail wagging. I take it all in happily, letting out small noises. I rest my head back, panting as I try to calm down.
In the afternoon of October 19, a few hours after engaging in this suggestive roleplay, Juke tries to justify the things he said to Sophie, claiming he was drunk at the time.
Drunk Juke just likes roleplaying a lot more than sober Juke.
Although half a minute later, he willingly contradicts his previous message by saying,
"But considering I reread this morning and still got excited while sober, it'd be safe to assume it was good."
And with his ignorance of realizing the weight of his actions, he eventually does something that crosses the line even further. On October 24th, as they're participating in the same kind of roleplay once again, Sophie would go on to say,
"Don't underestimate my thighs though. I want to see them. You'll see them soon. Be on top of me, please."
But if you think it can't get any worse, Juke takes this as an opportunity to show something that's completely inappropriate.
"I love you too. I'm trying to take a good picture. You don't have to if you don't want to." No, I want to. I love you."
He then sends an explicit picture of himself. Days later, he pushes this kind of behavior to an even more terrifying degree and shows Sophie a 30-second video of him doing inappropriate things to himself, with some of his props his viewers regularly see in a stream on his table. After this, the two start to talk about how their relationship is developing further over time, with Sophie even stating that Juke's now her boyfriend, with his reaction being he can't wait to be her husband. Sometime after, Juke, who's under the assumption that they're now official, proposes an idea to Sophie.
"What if I were to tell you that sometime next week I might, come over?"
Following this, Sophie asks her mother, who we'll refer to as Amy, for permission, to which she responds with questions regarding who Juke was and where Sophie met him.
"One second, what do I say? Nerd, what do I say?"
Juke then begins convincing her to tell Amy that he's 19 instead of his real age, as he's just turned 22 during this time, and Sophie sends him another screenshot of Amy's message saying,
"A lot of people I know are online people. I don't go off about them being dangerous. How old is he and where does he live? When would he show up and how long would he stay?"
Juke then replied,
"So we said 19, right? Should I say 19? You don't really look 19. You look, well, 22. I mean, if I clean shave, I look 19. LMAO."
Moments later, Amy decides to give a half agreement on letting Juke, who's posing as a 19-year-old, to come over, which leads Sophie to respond,
"About to get intimate. Just kidding. Imagine..."
Oh, hell no. You really said poggies. Why, as the mother, would you let this happen? She literally says she met him online. That's an automatic red flag. You say no, you are a teenager. No. That is, how stupid are you as a parent if your child comes up to you and says, I met this guy online and he wants to come to our house. And you're gonna say yes? You're gonna say yes. High school, bro. He's in high school. He's in high school. And not you as the mother. You say yes. Invite him. He's older. Way older. What did they say her age was, like iOS 15? Or iOS 16? This is 3 to 4 years older. She's still in thing and he's in first year university or college. It's gross. And you as the mother allow that to happen. What is wrong with you? You should. This is how it should have went down. The daughter says, "Oh, I met this guy online and he wants to come to." No. What did you just say?
Next weekend, like if I could come over and they weren't there.
A little while later, Juke tells her that he had a nightmare of Sophie laughing at him as he shows up on her house, telling him that he was stupid for believing her and that she only let him come over just so he'd be caught by authorities for being in a relationship with a young human like her. Sophie then answers back, explaining that she hates for things like that to happen and that she won't do that to him. She also mentions another predator who'd done horrible things to underage individuals, saying that Juke's a good guy that just wants to meet his lover in comparison to him. Juke then responds with,
I want to hug you, kiss you.
Bro, how is this iOS 15, iOS 16 so defensive? How is she just allowing this to happen to herself? She really... This is... I'm at a loss of words.
I want that so bad. I feel like I'd be really anxious. I'm not good at that stuff. I want to put my hands on you. I want to feel you. I want that more than anything.
Now 3 days would pass, and on November 15th, Juke would send Sophie an update on his current location, showing him heading into her state. And soon enough, he messages her.
5 minutes away? Yes, more like 2.
A few minutes later, Sophie replies to Juke saying,
Where are you going? Come back.
And as soon as they actually meet each other in person, there aren't any further messages between the two of them, until on the afternoon of November 16th, after the two of them seemingly part ways with each other in person, Sophie sends Juke a strange message.
I got to my room and just broke down in tears. I've never been happier. I finally got what I wanted. Thank you for being the biggest reason to keep going. I love you.
This alone implies that something with that level of impact had occurred on the days that they've been together. And just a day after this conversation, what follows is a graphic description of what happened.
That's hot. You know what else is hot? The temperature. Yes, or me being with you in an intimate way. How sore are you, by the way? Next time I come over, I want to be close to you. I want to share myself with you. You understand? I've never felt more comfortable with anyone than I do with you. And your hoodie keeps reminding me of that. I love you.
A few hours later, he would add more horrific details to this. And just when it seems like Juke can't get any more disgusting with his actions, he uploads the pictures they took into their conversation. The first one shows him with Sophie's cat, and the second one with them snuggling in their bed, while the third one is an appropriate one, and the last picture of them is holding hands in a restaurant. Yet, even though they grow more attached to each other, their relationship eventually comes to an end. In mid to late February of 2022, a YouTuber named Jax publishes a 2-part video expose about Juke, revealing all of what he did to Sophie for the world to see. As it turns out, before putting these videos together, Jax had already gotten information from a friend who'd previously spoken with Juke, which gave him enough evidence to call him out. He explains in great detail that ever since Juke and Sophie have met in person, their bond gradually started to slowly decline, until Sophie was no longer within his reach as their relationship had completely fallen apart.
Just know that even outside of what happened and after what happened in real life, that the relationship eventually fell apart and that the victim is safe right now. Just know that the victim is no longer within reach of Juke.
Prior to uploading the two videos, Jax had actually confronted Juke in the DMs, after a mutual friend who'd spoken with Juke linked the two of them together in a Twitter group chat. The conversation starts off with,
"Okay, I'm here. Explain yourself. What's there to explain that hasn't already been explained? You've probably seen what I've done, and I assume you don't want it to happen to yourself. I've seen your work, yes. What I did was gross and wrong. I've already acknowledged this and intended therapy, and I've done everything within my power to better this. I feel even if I try to convince you, you won't buy it. I don't know why I did what I did, or said those things. It was awful and disgusting, and I've talked with several people and I feel I've changed. All I wanted to do was to go to therapy and just try to forget about this. This isn't who I am. I swear to you, with every fiber of my being, this will never happen again."
That's what they all say, bro. This is just damage control. These PDF files, they're all the same, bro. They'll say, "No, I'll never do it again," and then they'll do it again. Like instantly, bro. Gideon proved that point. He proved it. He literally caught one of them, and then he got let free, and he did it again, and he caught him again. They're all the same, bro. They're all the same.
And after expressing that he's visibly regretful and scared about this whole situation, he goes on to say,
"There has to be something I can do. Anything."
with Jax replying,
"I'm going to ask you to do a number of things when I tell you to. When the video comes out, I want you, your voice, and your admission of guilt. It'll look much better on you in the future if you do this. Secondly, I want you to publicly apologize on your YouTube and terminate your Twitter, Discord, and Twitch."
Jax then addresses the fact that if he doesn't do all these things, people will have a witch hunt against him. And Juke responds to this with,
"I can't delete that stuff. That's my life's work. Twitch will likely delete it anyways, when me and multiple other big YouTubers report you to Twitch and get you banned. So you either leave with a shred of dignity or have everything taken away from you without prior notice. If I delete my YouTube and left Roblox completely, would you consider not doing this and constantly keeping an eye on me to make sure? Please, Twitch is my everything. I'll delete my Roblox account and YouTube, but please, I'm begging you."
but as Jax had already
Oh, doesn't YouTube make you more money though? Why does he care about his Twitch? I feel like YouTube is better long term. Okay.
decided to bring Juke's horrifying actions to light, Jax lets him know that he must face the consequences of his actions, and that he must apologize on every single platform or else it'll make his punishment even worse, reminding him of the reality of what he's done. And on February 15th, the same day the first part of the video expose against Juke has been uploaded, he would post a public statement detailing his many misdeeds. And to everyone's shock, Sophie isn't actually his only victim. He identifies a few other individuals by aliases that were under the age of 18 at the time, talking about how he met each of them and the things he's done to them. But little did he know that even with exposing himself, as well as publicly apologize, it wouldn't be enough for him to fully escape the outcome of his actions. On this very same day, Sophie had actually reached out to Jax and would send him the entire chat logs with Juke, with the hopes that he'll finally be brought to justice with this much evidence. Shocked by even more context on what exactly transpired, Jax, under the username of Screechy on Discord, confronts Juke, who goes by Velvet, asking what he can say about this.
"Did you or did you not visit Sophie in real life?" "I did. I deleted my Twitter as you asked. I shouldn't have went. Clearly I know that now. I knew it then. I even had doubts before I left. There's absolutely no excuse for what I did. I'm not trying to frame anyone or frame this as I'm not guilty. I know I am. I just wanted everything to be over. One friend told me not to make a video when I got banned. One friend told me to keep it private. And another one told me to make a video talking about why I was banned. So I didn't say anything. I went to therapy. I was stressing out. Ever since all that stuff went down, I've been bettering myself."
Later on in their conversation, the two of them actually end up talking in a voice call, with Jax pointing out his actions, along with calling out the fact that Juke had basically engaged in illegal activities with a young person.
When, early in the call, I told him that what he had committed was statutory and that he had crossed state lines to have for the he said, yeah, I understand.
Even with this confrontation, Juke would go on to claim that he doesn't know why all of this happened, and that the reason he'd gone there is because he and Sophie were friends.
He said he was
Man, shut your... Bro, I need that soundboard.
there because the victim and him were friends, when there are lots of screenshots I've already shown that...
That's not what friends do. That's not what friends do. What you did puts you in jail, brother. It puts you in jail, and you don't want to go to jail for being a PDF file, because you know what they do to the PDF files in jail? You get a taste of your own medicine. That's what happens.
kind of disprove that. He further elaborates that when he left the house, his intention was just to hang out, and that's it.
Surprisingly, Juke asks him what to do regarding the situation, and Jax would manage to convince him to turn himself in, to which he agrees. Jax then goes on to say that Juke himself knew that there's a high chance of punishment being somewhat lighter if he reported himself to the authorities, and that he could visibly see from Juke's words that he really wants to give in.
I call him out as bull, saying, no, I know everything you've said, you can't lie to me, essentially. And he said, well, what do I do? And from there, the conversation gradually spiraled out of control, at least on his part, to where he eventually agreed to turn himself in.
But when things were finally starting to take a turn for the better, this happens.
However, the morning after, let's just say I got some unfortunate...
Oh, don't tell me he unalived in Minecraft.
news where someone, being this person in close relation to Juker, convinced him that somehow he had not broken any laws.
With how this person persuaded Juke that he didn't do anything wrong, Jax would go on to claim that all of Juke's actions were considered illegal under the federal law, and even shows why that's the case.
He crossed state lines from his home state to the victim's state, which means that everything he did falls under federal jurisdiction. However, this person in close relation to Juker, who most certainly is not a lawyer, convinced him that because the age of consent in both his own state and the victim's state is that it's okay, that it doesn't matter, you can just sweep it under the rug.
Right after Jax informs Juke that this person is wrong, Juke simply replies with,
"Just don't upload the video, or this will get worse for the both of us. That's all. I suggest you listen to me. I don't know how old you are, but this will not end well. Please. There's a reason I wanted to just go to therapy and move on. What I did is inexcusable, but I don't want to fight someone in court. So please, just don't upload the video. I'll leave Roblox, I'll delete my YouTube, and I'll continue therapy. But if you upload the video, I'll go to the police about you. Good day."
As a response,
What did he do? He did nothing.
Jax proceeds to elaborate that what he's trying to demand is inexcusable, and just days later, after the videos exposing him have been uploaded, Jax drops a bombshell of an update about Juke.
Juke was arrested on March 1st and is awaiting his court date scheduled for tomorrow at 9 AM. He's facing charges for enticing a young person into indecent acts.
And this will spark a huge wave of attention across a lot of social media platforms. And Juke, who's now identified as Jonathan Mitchell, has now been sentenced for 5 years in prison. This next individual, however,
They leak why he went to jail to the jailmates. He's done, bro. That's gonna be 5 years of hell in that jail cell if they leak why he's in jail.
Recorded everything he did.
He slides into the DMs in Roblox, starts asking weird questions.
This guy straight to the point. He literally said, "Can we make kids?" Smiley face.
Slides into the DMs in Roblox, starts asking weird questions. He starts begging for pics. He's all sneaky about it, saying, "Don't tell anyone. It's our secret."
At 11 AM on June 16, 2024, a 8-year-old girl who we'll refer to as Olivia has just told her mother, who we'll call Mary, that she will be taking their dog out for a walk with a friend in the park, thinking that this would just be an ordinary stroll.
You know, I thought these types of stuff don't happen because we have so many safety videos that they play in like elementary school that like teach you not to talk to strangers. And you know, this stuff used to happen in the 80s and 90s because all the kids were always outside. This is 2024. 2024. And we have iOS 13 ignoring stranger danger and all the safety precautions of online. This is just insane, bro. Like they don't understand the consequences of their actions. We're gonna lie to your mom. You're like, "I'm gonna take my dog to the park or meet some creep." You can literally get essayed instantly. He can pull up, kidnap you, SA, you are literally gone forever. For now, your mom is crying, not knowing where you went. I don't know what the heck's gonna happen to the dog, but the dog gets kidnapped too. Poor dog. He just wanted to go for a walk in the park.
Mary allows her to do so. However, a few hours would pass, and Olivia would not return back to her home. Because of
I wonder why.
this, Mary decides to get Olivia's brother, who we'll name Jake, to look for her sister, while she's been trying for almost 20 times the past 2 hours to call her phone. Worried, Mary makes up her mind to go look for Olivia as well, and when she reaches where Olivia told her she went off to, she sees a man in his mid-30s beside her daughter. The two of them freeze in shock, and Mary quickly confronts the man who he was, and what he was doing with Olivia. The man said he had only just met her, and then proceeds to leave the area, and gets on a bus nearby. Mary then demands Olivia to tell her what was going on, and instead of telling her what happened, she begins making things up, with her story not making any sense at all. This alarms Mary, who contacts the police, but they're unable to act as Olivia insists nothing has actually happened. After going back home, Olivia tells her mother that she feels rather unwell and returns to her room. A few days would pass, and while Olivia was outside, Mary decides to go to her room to look for anything that will clear the lingering suspicion that her daughter is hiding something from her. A suspicion sparked by a man she encountered with Olivia in the park. Once inside, she comes across something strange in Olivia's bed. She finds another mobile phone that isn't her daughter's, prompting her to go through it, and what she sees utterly horrifies her. It turns out there's a conversation between Olivia and the man she saw in the park, under the name Michael, asking Olivia,
"Do you regret Sunday?"
to which Olivia replies,
"No."
Aside from this, Mary sees tons of messages between the two, containing requests from Michael for further meetings, and as she goes through their chat logs, she finds a disturbing picture of the two kissing each other, and him telling Olivia to hide the phone from her mother. Mary is devastated at what she sees, and she knows that Michael is the one who had given Olivia this phone in order for them to communicate with each other in secret, and that they'd already met previously a number of times without her knowing. She immediately goes to the police and hands over the device to serve as key evidence for the investigation, and from
No, if that was me, I would set him up 100%. I'd pull a GD on and do a full setup, YouTube video, cameras, everything, bro. I would use that phone, message him, and be like, I want to meet you tomorrow at this time at the same place. Oh, my mom's not going to be at home, blah, 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 blah. And then he comes, and then... Yeah, you want to do this? You want to talk to iOS 15? Beat his ass. And then call the police. Oh no, the police already has to be there. Never mind. But then I can't beat them up. Then the police will be like, hey, you can do that, sir. I know you want to, but we cannot allow that. So we have to call the police after he beat his ass. Tie him to a tree. Yeah, that's right. Tie him to a tree and just whip him over and over and over. And they'll be like, are you sorry for what you did? It doesn't matter, because the police are on their way. And then I'm gonna make sure that when you go to jail, they're gonna know you're a PDF file. And then they're gonna do the bad things to you. What are the bad things? You're gonna find out.
there, the detectives are able to identify his full name to be Michael Schablinger, a 36-year-old man from Germany who traveled all the way to Olivia's home country, England, just to meet with her. What comes off as a shock though, is that Olivia had actually met Michael on Roblox, falsely claiming himself to be a 21-year-old and spending months manipulating her to enter a romantic relationship with him since May of 2023. They also retrieve other conversations about Michael, seeking a passport for Olivia, making his intentions clear of wanting her to leave the country with him. And with this much information now in hand, the police can now rightfully search for this man and bring him to justice. On June 23rd, a week after Michael's last meetup with Olivia in the park, he gets arrested by border force officers at Heathrow Airport as he tried to board a plane to Munich, Germany. And following this, they're able to seize his phone, and moments later find explicit images and videos of other unidentified small humans, as well as indecent pictures of Olivia herself. While reviewing all of this evidence, the prosecutor of this case,
Oliver Haswell discovers a lot of inappropriate material and messages that have been exchanged between the two, and also that Michael has coerced Olivia to commit depraved acts, recording her as she's doing it. Oliver also learns that on the day of Olivia's last interaction in person with Michael, she actually refused to tell the police what happened, even sending him a message when she got home, saying,
"Be lucky, I lied to the police."
But on January 9th, 2025, about 6 months after his arrest, Michael finally appears in court, where he admits to engaging in obscene activities with Olivia. And what makes this even worse is, he confesses to possessing over 800 indecent images and videos, not just of Olivia, but also of other small humans as well. And following this, he's charged with 3 offenses relating to Olivia and another 3 involving unidentified people. The judge then imposes an extended 8.5-year sentence on Michael, made up of 4.5 years in custody and 4 years on license. He's also been banned from contacting or attempting to contact the victim directly or indirectly until further order, leaving him no chance of harming Olivia. But as terrifying as this is, this next person took things far beyond a relationship.
Oh, I think I know this guy. I think I know this guy.
The thing is, when we were talking through Roblox, she told me that everyone that she knows, she always tells her that she looks younger than her age.
On April 13th, 2025, a 10-year-old girl who will call
10. Like Ben 10? Ben 10. This is mentally taxing me now. Because I'm just like, wow. Is either pornography addiction or this person never talked to a woman in their life? It's one of the two now at this point. Because if you can't get women your own age and you go this low, no, it's because, first of all, some of these are grown ass men who should have a family playing Roblox. I don't want to judge. Like, you can play games at whatever age, but you're supposed to play the game. You're not supposed to interact with these people, and then when you realize that they're that age, you immediately say, no, don't talk to me ever again, block, and you play your game. These people don't do that. And they're like, oh, you're this age? And then they go buck wild.
Emma is reported missing from her home in Taft, California. Right away, her entire family goes into panic mode, and deputies are dispatched to several streets in the city. A 10-year-old girl who we'll call Emma is reported missing from her home in Taft, California. Right away, her entire family goes into panic mode, and deputies are dispatched to several streets in the city. And as soon as they begin the investigation, they would receive information from Emma's friends that points to the possibility of her being kidnapped, prompting detectives to be called out immediately. But to understand how this happened, it all traces back a month earlier. In March of 2025, Emma was just playing Roblox when she meets someone named Matthew on the platform's game called Micah, which uses voice chats to talk to each other.
Oh, not this game, bro. Oh my god, bro. I only see good things. Oh god, the green screen. I'm dissolving.
And as they begin to socialize, they will start developing some sense of friendship. And soon after,
bro, I only see funny things with this game. I see people like do funny stuff or have like well, it's not always funny, I guess.
After, they both would move their casual conversations to Discord.
Why are you 10 and you have Discord? Bro, you should be playing like Barbie dolls and actually, what am I saying, bro? It's 2025, bro. They probably already have freaking the iPhone 15 Pro Max Legendary Edition Turbo HD Remix, okay? At 10 years old. They have an iPad. They're 100% iPad kid. What am I saying? They don't have a phone. They might have a phone. I don't know. They 100% have the iPad. And they're playing on the iPad. Why the hell would they have Discord is the next problem. At 10 years old. So I'm thinking, yo, there's no... I mean, we had Skype. Actually, you know what's crazy? I had MSN when I was 10 years old. But the thing in MSN, you can't just... That's not even a game. That's literally like a messenger. So you have to add each other. And I only added my friends from school. So it's like, there's no way in hell that someone older would infiltrate, because that's literally impossible. Unless a third party added them to the convo. See, we didn't have these games that just boom public. Okay, actually I lied. We had... Okay, there was no voice chat. But there was like... I'm about to sound old. The comments down below. Let me see if you know these games. Okay. Gaia Online. Habbo Hotel. That's the only two I played. I think there's probably a bunch. Though the weirdest one, I remember, dude, that game had like so many ads, and I was a kid, and I would look at that and be like, yo, this is like borderline adult game. But I forget what that game is called. It's like IMVU or something. I swear that game, I was like a kid. Every time I looked at that game, I was like, yo, this is definitely... I just should never play that game. Because that game looked way too sexual. But yeah, there was like that game. But yeah, the two I played was Gaia Online and Habbo Hotel. And that was only like talking. But this is like a million times worse.
Become weeks, and their connection develops even further. They go from talking about where they live to talking about meeting each other in person, and before long, this exact idea comes to fruition. At 1 AM in the morning on April 13th, Matthew has just arrived at Emma's residence from a 4-hour drive from his county in Sacramento, down to her place in Kern County, California. From here, he picks her up outside the house and leaves completely unnoticed by her family, and just hours later, Emma's family starts to notice that she's nowhere to be seen at the house. And once the realization that she's missing starts to sink in, they immediately call the authorities. And about...
Okay, wait.
In Kern County, California. From here, he picks her up outside the house and leaves completely unnoticed by...
L parents. How are you just gonna... A 10-year-old girl, how are you gonna not know where she is in your house at 1 AM? Damn, that means they were all sleeping. Cannot believe this, bro.
her family, and just hours later, Emma's family starts to notice that she's nowhere to be seen at the house. And once the realization that she's missing starts to sink in, they immediately call the authorities. And about 10 AM, Kern County Sheriff's Office deploys deputies to the area, and with her family members saying that she was last seen the night before at their house, they begin their search for Emma. During the investigation, detectives receive more information from Emma's friends, and once they piece all their stories together, they discover that Emma hasn't simply gone missing, but was most likely kidnapped by someone she's been talking to online. The authorities retrieved Emma's chat logs on Roblox and Discord, and they identified the man she was talking to as Matthew Makatuno Navel, a 27-year-old, living more than 250 miles from the family's residence. The detectives then quickly notify the Elk Grove police for assistance, and shortly after, they're able to track Matthew's location in his car at a strip mall near his house with Emma. Straight away, the police make their way into the area, and at 3:35 PM, officers finally arrive and swiftly arrest Matthew on the spot, booking him into Sacramento County Jail for kidnapping and engaging in unlawful indecent conduct with a young girl. Meanwhile, they find Emma inside his car, visibly distressed by what's happening, and after taking her into protective custody, it doesn't take long before her family arrives to make it to her side, relieved that they can see that Emma is somewhat safe once again. And although it's not confirmed whether she was physically harmed throughout the abduction, Matthew is hit with multiple charges. Several of them are relating to committing inappropriate acts with a young person, while others cover kidnapping and trying to expose a young girl to harmful material. And on the evening of April 21st, Matthew is summoned to speak with several
news agencies at the Lerdo Justice Facility, where he's currently held after being transferred to Kern County on a $1.35 million bail. And when he
I know you don't got that money. I know you got no one in your life that has that money. 1.35 mil bail? Your ass is staying in jail, brother.
asked about a statement on the matter, he says,
I should have been more careful.
That's what you have to say. That's what you... What is wrong with you, bro? You are a disgrace to the name Matthew, okay? You gotta change your name. Don't disgrace the name of Matthew.
Yeah, I should have been more questioning when it came to having that person involved.
Matthew then...
You went to the house and you saw how she looked like. What do you mean? What do you mean? You saw a 10-year-old coming out of that house and you, in your head, was like, this is a good thing I'm doing. I want to do this. And now after you're caught, you're like, I should ask more questions.
goes on to claim that Emma had told him she was 18, turning 19 at the time, and that she had allegedly asked him if he wanted to be more than friends.
He asked me if I wanted to...
Okay, again, you went to the house, she came out of the door. Does she look like an 8? Can you not differentiate a 10-year-old and an 18? You're telling me that you can't look and see? You would be like, that's not an 18. You're telling me that you cannot differentiate between a 10-year-old and an 18. She'll punch you in your stupid face right now, bro. I don't even have an item. I want to physically... get this. Actually, no, I can't even do that. This video's gonna get it. I'll punch this guy in his face, bro.
Like, be more than friends. I was a little bit like hesitant because of like age or whatnot, but I was pretty much encouraged.
The reporter then asked him about the time he discovered that she was actually a 10-year-old girl, and this is his response.
So when did you discover she was 10 years old?
Ooh. I would say, because I'm sorry, it like sickens me every time I hear that age. I think when I was questioned.
Demanding to know whether he's telling the truth, he's also questioned if he'd ever suspected her age. As she obviously appears rather young in the picture, the sheriff's office used in a release when she was reported missing.
The thing is, when we were talking through Roblox, she told me that everyone that she knows, she always tells her that she looks younger than her age. And then I tend to believe that because likewise for myself, people would tell me myself that I look younger for my age.
But despite that, he denies all the charges against him, but also mentions that he works with small humans on the autism spectrum and is studying to become a nurse. He currently remains in custody, and after pleading not guilty, details of his court hearing, originally scheduled for June, haven't been made public yet. But what follows next, however, is someone who believed he was untouchable.
FBI, we got the FBI involved in this one. Oh man. That's how you know this guy's a demon.
Following some breaking news tonight at 6 o'clock, 22-year-old Arnold Castillo of New Jersey is facing federal charges.
It's late 2017. Arnold Costello, otherwise known with various usernames such as the Jeterman, Jaden Shetletsky, Jacob Shetletsky, and Dr. Rodfatnik, is on track to becoming one of the most successful game developers on the platform of all time. With his YouTube channel already having 10,000 subscribers, he's now months away from finishing a Sonic-inspired game, Sonic Simulator. However, on September 6th, Arnold, who's under the username of Alive Inside Mephiles and Dead Inside Mephiles, is seen talking to a year-old who will name Sarah. And from this Discord conversation, he appears to be conversing with her in a rather unsettling way.
Ah, it's fine, I expect you to be a little slow on the upbringing, but soon I'll corrupt you beyond your wildest dreams, no matter. I thought you were going to keep this our little secret. Look what you did. Now my clothes are dirty. Well,
Well, you're 12 years old talking like this to it. Bro, we might have to just ban pornography from the world. We might have to just do that, you know what? Just F it, bro. Just get rid of it. Just delete it. It just benefits everyone, okay? We don't need pornography anymore. We have 12-year-olds who are comfortable in talking like this. Where did she learn this from? Twitter? Reddit? Instagram? YouTube? TikTok? We might have to just wipe it out of the existence, bro. Every time you type that 4-letter word in, Google's just like, blocked. Everything blocked. This is just... Like, you're a kid! Do you really want to just throw your life away? You want to grow up that fast, huh?
guess you're gonna have to take them off. No, that just killed my expansion. I'm you PDF, bastard man. You know what they say, the younger the better.
You know what they say when a PDF goes to jail? I don't know what they say.
Although it's unclear how they first met, these are just a few of the many messages he sends to Sarah.
You know my rules, little human. Looks like I'm gonna have to punish you. Calm down or else I won't take advantage of you. Behave and we can continue to play.
And it unfortunately doesn't end here. Over the span of 2 months, their conversations would gradually become even worse.
Face reveal. You had me there for a second. RIP my excitement. What's wrong, sweet turns? Be careful on where it goes. Sure thing, I'll make sure to miss any vital areas, hehe.
As the messages become more disturbing each time, Arnold begins making even more coercive suggestions.
End me, please. No, I'll hurt you violently instead. Don't worry about it, I'll just drive down there. The basement? No, to your home. Just jump out the window and I'll take you somewhere nice. What place? It's your choice, either my home or some motel. You're the reason I'm gonna end up behind bars. You won't end up in bars if nobody finds out.
She's encouraging this! I don't know if I ever want a daughter now. Because if this is how corrupt a 12-year-old girl is, I don't know if I ever want a daughter. I think you just have to freaking, I can't even think. You have to monitor, like, they're not playing any games. Like, they're just playing consoles. Like, I'm not getting them a PC till, like, high school. And even then, that PC is getting, like, I'm gonna, like, make sure I have remote access to her laptop. So that I can see everything that she types. Because, bro, this is not happening. Bro, if I ever had a daughter and she she typed this stuff in. Getting the belt, bro. Getting the belt. I'm gonna get the belt. And then while she's getting the belt, I'm gonna tell her all the bad things that that person would have done to her if I wasn't there to see what she was doing. I would have literally told her, this is nothing. What he would have did to you, undescribable. And I would have traumatized her that she would never talk to a person that old online ever again. Because clearly this is unsupervised children on the computer equals this. And then kidnapped. Essay. Kidnapped. Essay. Kidnapped. Like this girl 100% would leak her address to this person.
Just keep me at your house. Nobody will find me there. Oh yeah, you'll love the basement.
By this point, it's increasingly clear that Arnold no longer even tries to hide his twisted plans.
End me, LMAO. Why end you if I can hurt you instead? Besides, like I said before, you're more fun screaming.
What is...
It wasn't a physical violation. You just call it that because you like fantasizing about being no, which to be honest is kinda hot.
Given how he repeatedly attempts to normalize this with a small human who doesn't know any better, he even goes as far as suggesting meeting her in person, just so he can, in his words, hurt her. Yet Sarah isn't his only victim. Another call who we'll call Layla, who just turned years old in 2017, is a staff member at Arnold's Roblox Sonic game. During her time being one of the people managing the game though, Arnold actually likes to refer to her as his play toy, to fulfill his inappropriate desires. Every time she's in their Discord server, Arnold always takes his time in spamming her with hearts and mentioning her, and whenever she's asking him what work he wants her to do for the game, he would just constantly respond in a very disturbing way. In one instance, for example, he'll tell her to be his personal under-the-desk motivator. On one occasion, she even cries about how she doesn't want to be treated this way, stating that she just wants to work on modeling Sonic characters for their game. But despite this, Arnold would keep being uncomfortably inappropriate towards her, even though she clearly wasn't interested in anything other than doing her role as a staff member. And
damn, bro, she was about that game developer life, bro. So she was trying to make a game, and this guy thinking with his genitals, and we have a hard-working girl trying to game develop, bro.
just when it seems like it couldn't get any worse, a 15-year-old girl we'll refer to as Mia, who's actually a close friend of Sarah, has also been getting messages from Arnold. On December 18, 2017, the conversation starts off with him saying,
"Baby, show me what you look like." "No, but why? I can be trusted, mommy." "Why?" "Because I want to see what you look like."
This guy's a... That's gross. That's literally gross that you call a iOS 15 mommy. It's ruining the term. You're supposed to say that to a woman older than you, not younger. Extremely younger.
I don't want to hurt you. I just want to see how good mama looks.
Thinking of a way for him to leave her alone, she decides to send him a picture of her hair. But instead of stop insisting that she sends a picture of herself, this is what he responds with.
"I'm not gonna bully you or anything, mama. Please trust me. I won't share it to anyone. I just want to see you."
And when she still refuses, he replies,
"Why not? What's the problem with you showing me? Do you not trust me, or is it some sort of insecurity?"
And after begging her over and over again for a picture, it appears like she stands her ground and ignores his further messages. But on January 2nd, 2018, he would suddenly send her an unsettling message again.
"You don't actually look that bad. You look okay." "What? You look cute. I haven't shown you any pictures, so no. Maybe not you, but someone else did."
Mia then asks him who actually leaked the picture of her, but even though she's visibly concerned about her privacy being exposed, Arnold decides to degrade her even more before ending their conversation. And yet, instead of facing backlash and the consequences of what he's done, these conversations would only get buried throughout the following months, hidden from everyone else to witness. 7 entire months would pass, and in August of 2018, Sonic Simulator is finally released on Roblox. And from here, Arnold's career changes dramatically, as over the course of just a couple of years, he becomes one of Roblox's highest paid developers at the time, with his game at a staggering amount of around 90 million visits. But instead of making good use of his acquired fame and popularity, he instead takes advantage of this to fuel his twisted behavior. As it turns out, ever since his early days in 2017, he's been exhibiting horrifying actions on his server. And whenever anything controversial would be brought up against him, he would somehow convince these people that he's not actually doing anything that's outright wrong. For example, in one conversation, he's seen showing an image of him and his friends on Roblox dancing, while another user character is suffocating from a tree, and he would then go on to say, "I like how I'm dancing," while
why do you even take I thought you were just like jumping or something. And he's
another user character is suffocating from a tree, and he would then go on to say, "I like how I'm building the World War II German flag, and Vanguard and Trevor are holding Confederate flags, LMAO. And you see Charles hanging like a victim of racial violence."
these people, I don't know what to say, man. They gotta do the history lesson and learn how much African Americans suffered back then. They did the most disturbing, humiliating things to African Americans. It's so bad. And this what he did is one of the things, and he's making fun of it.
with another chat log of him saying racist remarks.
"I call anyone an N-word, regardless of their skin tone. It's not like they're specifically calling a black person an N-word to insult them."
However, the racism wasn't the only horrible thing happening on the server. One of the staff members of his game, who goes by the username Panic, is even seen defending Arnold's attraction to young people. When Arnold's disturbing interactions with Sarah were exposed on their Discord server, their conversation begins with him and an unknown user shifting the blame to Sarah for Arnold's actions.
"I honestly think it's a guilt trip to get people to side with her and feel bad with her. That pisses me off. While I feel bad for her, she's also accountable for her actions. She can't play it off as I was young and immature. Dog should have stopped a long time ago when she asked him to. He's a predator. Being passive aggressive. Can't call him a PDF cause he ain't done nothing of the sort that's known as of now. There's nothing wrong with being passive aggressive. It's irritating, but it's not like morally wrong or anything."
But when another user named Saju presses Arnold's actions as unmistakably wrong, Panic would go on to justify Arnold's behavior even more.
"I can't blame her, yet she made several attempts to expose him or whatever using the exact same reasons. Imagine being years old and getting taken advantage of by a man in his 20s. Imagine
Telling you, bro, he can't get women 24 years old. So he does this. He's socially inept. I don't know what to say, bro.
having to bring it up several times, and every time you say you just wanted to bring light to it. The situation is over and dealt with, and you keep bringing it up, because who knows why. You would want to forget about something like that, wouldn't you?"
Arnold would even allow a well-known Sonic YouTube content creator named Sonic Destiny, otherwise known as Crazy Sonic Fan 110, who's just been recently outed as
Does that name sound familiar? Is that who I think it is? Is that the kid? Is that the famous Sonic kid?
a PDF to be in his Discord server. While he's already aware of this and how he could
Maybe not, I don't know.
endanger small humans on the server by keeping Crazy Sonic in there, he would still not do anything about it. But when his other staff members would actually take notice and kick Crazy Sonic out of the server, not only would he tell them off, but would even invite him back, as he says that this person is making him a ton of money. But all of this would fall apart due to one single person. On September 14, 2020, a Twitter user named Anonymity calls out Arnold for his many heinous deeds.
I'm here to expose a fairly popular Sonic game developer on Roblox for having an attraction to young humans, being racist and homophobic.
In the document provided, all of Arnold's conversation logs with his known victims, as well as his disturbing behavior, is shown in detail. And what's even more surprising is that it's been recently updated to include a statement from Sarah, the alias of Arnold's first victim. It starts off with her noticeably expressing her anger towards him and his vile behavior, saying,
"Took advantage of my attachment to him, guilted and degraded me for not wanting to go along with his jokes, and turns on me and tells me I'm not special anymore, and I don't mean anything to him. When I was took advantage of my attachment to him and would start things with me just to beg for his forgiveness. And when I lost interest, he did that even more, banned and punished me for stupid reasons. And when I didn't give him what he wanted, he stopped."
She then talks about how he took advantage of her emotions and devalued her feelings, constantly humiliating her to the point of making her seem like she was the one who's in the wrong. 2 days after this expose has been made public, Arnold would publish a response video about the allegations against him, and he would open the video by acknowledging the things he said were inappropriate, but then goes on to say that they were just jokes.
It was pretty common knowledge that these jokes were being made in my community. Maybe not to the extent it actually occurred, but definitely known. So far as to the point where I was known as the old man with in his basement.
He also invites a couple of other people who are acquainted with him to get testimonials about how he's not attracted to young people.
Hey there, my name is Charlie. I'm currently and I work at SEO as a graphics lead.
This is Panic. I've been a part of SEO's community since 2018. I do animation and modeling work.
I want to start off by saying I've known Jaden for 5 years, and all the years I've known him for, he was very careful with what he said because he knows not to step over the fine line of joking around. I'm not excusing what he said, but it was never meant to be handled seriously.
And near the end, he even shifts the blame to Sarah, calling her someone who craves attention.
First things first, Red. What I said to you earlier about my apology was completely sincere, and I hope you can someday let go of this hatred. However, I will call you out on this because you cannot be claiming to be an angel. Red has no problem admitting that she craves attention. Her behavior before anything else really just kind of screams it.
With him continuously downplaying.
Brother, you're 24. Why did you encourage it then? If you know that she craves attention. I don't know anymore, man.
His actions throughout the video and how his community is actually siding with him, it looks like he's going to completely get away with it. Until on September 20th, 4 days after Arnold's
The goat arrives. Ruben Sim drops the nuke on him.
response video, a Roblox YouTuber known for exposing predators on the platform, we already mentioned, Ruben Sim, steps in and brings the situation to a Roblox staff member. He sends them the clip where Arnold admits the screenshots are real and breaks down Arnold's 30-minute response video into a 7-minute video, and also provides the email address of Sarah's mother.
So I spoke up. I made a few tweets denouncing him that caught the attention of a Roblox staff member on the developer relations team. I explained the situation to him. I gave him the email address of Sarah's mom, and I also showed him the video of Arnold admitting that the screenshots were real. Since the video is over half an hour long, I created my own video breaking it down in less than 7 minutes.
And surprisingly, Arnold's main Roblox account would get deleted shortly after Ruben's conversation with the staff member. To Ruben's frustration, however, it turns out the account that has been banned isn't Arnold's main source of income, and because of the attention he's actually received, his revenue allegedly tripled right after getting exposed. And by the end of the month, with Arnold's game still on the platform, he's able to receive all the payments from Roblox, while Sarah's mom still hasn't been made aware of the whole situation. As a result, Ruben himself would then share his frustration with the staff member, addressing that Roblox should really put an effort to protect their users from these predators. And surprisingly, Roblox would actually terminate the holder account for Arnold's development group. But just like before, it would appear like Arnold has seen this coming, because just a few days earlier, he transferred the ownership of the group to one of his friends, ensuring that the funds from the game would still be accessible. 2 weeks later, he tweets,
"Thanks for driving more money to my game, man. Jeez, you guys are actually stupid by giving me all this publicity."
Even with all of this, Roblox still couldn't take down his game for rightful reasons. And on November 9th, Ruben would push the issue even further by contacting the local police to file a report on Arnold.
So on November 9th, I called my local police to file a report on him. I spoke with the detective who really seemed like he wanted to help, but since I didn't know anything about Arnold's real identity, there wasn't much they could do.
Roblox, on the other hand, has this information because of Arnold being approved for the platform's developer exchange, but they still wouldn't take any action on handing over Arnold's information to the authorities, and Ruben's efforts to bring attention to the police would end up going nowhere. Following this, Arnold would go on to lay low for the time being, and just when the public attention was slowly starting to fade away from him, it would be completely revived. On December 13th, 2021, a YouTube channel called People Make Games would release a video talking about the darker side of Roblox, which shockingly includes an interview with none other than Sarah herself.
When I had first met him, he had mentioned his Roblox fan game, and I was like, hey, I like Roblox too. He was making a Roblox Sonic fan game, two things that had caught my interest at the time. So I asked him about it. Next thing I know, I get like 5 pings, and he sends me a bunch of gifs of it. He's sending me progress of it already. He was the one who started taking the inappropriate jokes into DMs first. He kept encouraging it, saying that it was okay to make these jokes. It's not illegal, it's not breaking any laws, even though it was literally, it got to ERP level at one point. I did actually self after the response video came out. I mean, I thought my reputation was destroyed now, you know?
After admitting that watching Arnold's response video has made her hurt herself, Roblox will receive a ton of backlash on how they dealt with the situation. And thankfully, with how Ruben and many other content creators brought the entire issue to light, a lot of other people would start to willingly cooperate on bringing the matter to justice as well. One of which was Naru, a 22-year-old Japanese gamer who would decide to take on a different approach, writing to the vice president for product development at the company who owns the trademarks related to Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega Sammy Holdings Incorporated. And she would also go on.
Damn, bro, they hit up Sega. And they're like, look at this person using your IP. He's doing pulled pork.
On to tweet at its press relations team, saying that their iconic hedgehog was being mishandled by a PDF on Roblox. And this would actually move the needle, because Sega would file a copyright infringement notice with Roblox. And so at the end of 2021, Arnold's game Sonic Simulator would finally be shut down, with all its revenue being gone as well. And an entire year later, a group of anonymous investigators would manage to dig up what they believed to be Arnold's real identity, narrowing it down to his name, city, and even his old address. And Ruben again would take this to the local police. But because so much of this information was actually outdated, and with Arnold's long history of using fake details, the detectives couldn't confirm a positive ID, and there wouldn't be a way to officially tie evidence back to him. He managed to get away once again. However, just a few months later, everything would change. In May of 2022, a missing person report is filed in the state of Indiana. A 18-year-old girl who we'll name Crystal has disappeared, along with her favorite electronics, charger cables, as well as some clothing and a blanket. Her family and friends are flooding her with calls and messages, asking where she is, but it's met with no response. And when they come across her Instagram, they notice a recently posted photo of her from the back seat of what appears to be a car, with the caption, "Goodbye, Indiana." Stacy Hinshaw, a detective who specializes in crimes involving obscene acts, quickly realizes that this isn't a typical situation where Crystal has only run away. Upon asking her family, she discovers that Crystal actually doesn't have any money to travel, yet she's nowhere to be seen in the whole entire state, which leads to the possibility that someone has taken her away. After getting approval from the judge to access Crystal's phone, Stacy discovers that the last tower her cell has pinged was in Pittsburgh, which is around 350 miles away from Indiana. And she then asks Crystal once again if she's been talking to anyone online recently, to which her sister, who we'll call Jamie, says that a man named Jacob Shatletsky, who's apparently a popular game developer on Roblox, has been chatting with her sister. Jamie then adds that Crystal actually met Jacob on the platform this January, and he even bought one of Crystal's drawing that she, as an artist, has posted on Instagram. Before accepting the payment, Crystal called her mother to make sure it was alright, and once she gave her approval, Jacob sent $45 through Cash App. And shortly after that, Amazon packages would suddenly start showing up on their doorstep, containing a teddy bear, a tablet drawing stand, and a drawing glove, as well as food from fast food restaurants. Upon getting this information, Stacy is then able to trace the gifts to the Amazon account of a second man named Nelson Betanker, with an address in Peterson, New Jersey. Immediately after, she calls Jacob's phone number that she received from Crystal's mother, and after answering the phone, Jacob admits that he's the one behind the gifts, but claims that he doesn't know where she is. Throughout the call, however, he takes a suspiciously long time to provide even the most basic information, such as his address and even date of birth. And when Stacy asks asks Jacob why he sent the Amazon gifts from a different account, he responds by saying that Nelson is his business associate. Days later, Instagram's parent company, Meta Platforms Incorporated, returns the result of a court-ordered search warrant for Crystal's messaging history in the platform. And surprisingly, another person pops up by the username of Dr. Rofatnik. The chat logs show her sending him hundreds of messages, and Doctor even says at one point that he's in love with her, and tells her that physical intimacy is a beautiful thing. And when she says that she might be too young for that kind of stuff, he replies with,
"You're not."
And on April 25th, he writes another message saying,
"I want to see you badly. The only way this is going to work is if you listen to me."
And now that there's enough evidence in hand, Stacy calls the FBI and is put in touch with Len Rothermich, who's a special agent on the Abduction Rapid Response Team in the state. And soon enough, Len would discover that the girl has logged into her Instagram account from a new IP address, prompting him to call the service provider's emergency office, saying that a teenager's life is at risk and he needs the account holder's location as soon as possible. And as soon as he receives the phone records, he discovers that Crystal's recent login location matches the address linked to the Amazon account that has been sending packages to her home. And so finally, in the early evening of May 11th, 8 days after Crystal left her home, 6 unmarked cars carrying police officers and FBI agents arrive in a quiet residential street in Patterson. Within minutes, they see Crystal turning around a corner with a man, and officers immediately approach the pair, separating them from each other. And minutes later, Crystal is taken to a hospital, while the man is being put into handcuffs. After searching his belongings, they ask who he is, and he replies saying that his name is Arnold Castillo. Arnold, who's now been identified as the 22-year-old man, is taken to an FBI office where he agrees to an interview without a lawyer. In it, he admits to using the aliases Jacob Chetletsky and Jaden Chetletsky, as well as Dr. Rofatnik, in order to hide his identity. Arnold then says he used the Amazon account of an uncle in Florida to send gifts to Crystal, and that he's even had a deal with an Uber driver, paying them $1,000 to bring her from Indiana to his place in New Jersey, and Arnold would be arrested.
22-year-old Arnold Castillo of New Jersey is facing federal charges. The reason we're covering this story, he was in court today for allegedly ordering an Uber to pick up a girl here in central Indiana and taking her to his home. Court documents say Castillo used social media to communicate with this girl and her with gifts. Last May, investigators found that girl at his home in New Jersey. If convicted, Castillo faces up to life in prison.
And a few weeks later, showing him flirting with Crystal under the username Last Outlaws, and that their in-game avatars appear to be holding hands, or having matching t-shirts that read boyfriend and girlfriend. In the 4 months leading up to his arrest, Len also learns that Arnold and Crystal have been actually messaging each other on Roblox about her intention to run away from their home. And following this, the federal prosecutor Tiffany Preston would detail what investigators believe what happened during the 8 days that Crystal was missing. Shortly after being dropped off in New Jersey by the driver, Castillo would take her to a cramped room he rented in a house next to his garage apartment, where he would do incredibly disturbing things to her. She would also discover that Crystal is entirely dependent on Castillo for food and money, and that there were no blankets or furniture inside the room, except for only a dirty twin mattress on the floor. And every time Crystal would tell Arnold that she feels lonely, he would simply buy her a plush doll and just buy hair dye just to change her appearance. Finally, in the court hearing on August 30th, 2023, the judge would sentence Arnold to 15 years in prison. But this next case, however, is someone who took his depraved obsessions to the most extreme.
There's more? There's someone worse than this guy where the FBI got involved. That's what you're telling me?
Is he chatting this little girl up online and luring her? Well, it worked because he kidnapped her.
It's mid-2023, and 11-year-old girl from Wayne Township, New Jersey, who we'll just refer to as Riley, is just having fun playing Roblox. While she's going across various games on the platform, she's with a boy named Darius, who she first met early on the game Dead by Daylight. And from there, they begin to spend time playing together on the platform, till they eventually start hanging out every day. And as time went by, Riley and Darius started talking on various social media platforms, including Discord, Snapchat, and even TikTok. But soon, their conversations would lead to a horrifying set of consequences. At 5:30 in the morning of September 10th, 2023, Riley's brother, who we'll call Jake, has just woken up, assuming it's a school day. He looks around their hotel residence and finds his sister is already gone. Considering the possibility that she went off early to school, he doesn't think much of it until he realizes that it's Sunday, wondering where
sister went off to, he calls their mother, who we'll name Jade, on the phone, and this prompts Jade to quickly come home. And after an hour of searching for Riley, Jade contacts the Wayne Township Police Department, and at approximately 6:45 a.m. on September 10th, 2023, officers respond to the area of the US Route 46, an old turnpike road in Wayne, New Jersey, regarding the missing 18-year-old. From here, the authorities begin asking Jade, who her daughter has been recently talking to, and she suddenly remembers someone Riley has been messaging on Facebook all the time. She then provides the investigators with the Facebook name, Darius Stiles. A couple of minutes pass, and after confirming who the account belongs to, they tell her that Riley has been interacting online with a 27-year-old man named Darius Matulowicz, leaving her in utter shock. The police then immediately take various tracking measures to know where Darius currently is, and soon after, they're able to locate both his phone number and residence in Delaware. They proceed to contact him by phone, hoping to get answers for Riley's whereabouts. What's even more surprising though is that he not only answers the call, but after more than half an hour of officers questioning him, he admits to picking up Riley from the hotel where she and her family are staying, claiming he thought she was years old and not, which doesn't really make it any better.
There's no way he said that. Yeah, because that makes it better, right? That makes it better.
And just 4 hours after Riley's disappearance, the Newcastle County Police Department, assisting WTPD with this case, arrests Darius at his home, 135 miles from Riley's residence, and safely rescues her, bringing her back home to her family. As investigators dig further, they learn more about what led to Riley leaving that morning. On September 9th, she told Darius that her mother was planning to send her to Florida to live with her relatives, which prompted him to worry about losing access to her. The next day, he offered to let her stay with him, and followed through, bringing her to his mother's house. In questioning, Darius would then admit to having communicated with Riley through the social platforms mentioned earlier. He described traveling to New Jersey to meet her, going on walks near her home, and eventually picking her up, along with her cat, from the Wayne Hotel, where her family was living. His defense attorney, going by the name of Alco, claims that Darius was just trying to help the who allegedly told him she was planning to run away.
My client said that this is a bad idea, you should not be running away, and she begged my client to come pick her up to get out of an unhealthy and unstable living situation. He asked her repeatedly if she wanted to go back, if her mother would be concerned.
The prosecutor, however, notes that an 18-year-old is too young to give consent to leave her family with a 27-year-old man, and they questioned Darius whether he really believed that he was helping her or not. The fact that he hadn't gone to the police or informed them when they called him in the morning also raised clear suspicions on his intentions with Riley, yet it soon became unsettlingly clear what Darius' real intentions had really been. A forensic examination of Darius' cell phone and social media uncovered startling evidence, including communication threads in which he pressured Riley into performing indecent acts, and in turn produced very exploitative materials of her. Investigators also recovered messages where Darius described secretly watching and following Riley near her home, and they discovered that he'd been using an iPhone app to record conversations, videos, and images of her performing inappropriate acts, solicited through Snapchat. Apart from that, it was also revealed that Darius stored hundreds of files of Riley within the hidden folder of his Photos app, which was only accessible through Face ID. And after that, Darius would also be found out to be regularly telling Riley that he loved her and guilt-tripped her. He also gave her gifts, including Roblox gift cards, and suggested she could pay him back with other disturbing requests. And so Darius would be hit with charges of coercion and enticement of a young person and production of disturbing materials involving the very young. And by July 2nd, 2025, he would be sentenced to a period of 20 years in prison. What comes next, however, is someone who showed no remorse in carrying out some of the most despicable acts imaginable.
During her stay at his house,
Bro, this is the last one. Oh my goodness.
He assaulted her multiple times over several days.
It's February 18th, 2022. A 15-year-old girl who we'll refer to as Amy is just playing her favorite game, Roblox, on her iPad, hoping to find some friends to play with. But as she's going through various different games on the platform, she happens to come across a user named Mr. Malicious XYZ. And as they begin talking to each other, Amy becomes fascinated by him, as he has a friendly personality and all around seems like a nice guy. Before leaving the game, she makes sure to add him as a friend, with the intention of wanting to play with him from now on. And from there on out, they begin to chat for a span of 2 days. And during this period, Malicious finds out that Amy is just... Because of this, he suddenly becomes interested in meeting her in real life and reveals that he's actually 33. Stunned, Amy realizes that the person she's been talking to this whole time is almost 3 times her age. Yet seeing how his demeanor seems to be of no harm, she eventually bears no mind in having him as a friend. Malicious then tries to meet up with her in person, telling her that they're going to hang out like real friends. And not knowing better at the time, Amy thinks to herself that it would be fun to spend time with him outside their online conversations. And after coming to a decision, she agrees. However, unlike Amy, who has innocent yet exciting ideas on the things she wants to do with him once they meet, Malicious has other plans.
On February 20th, Malicious, who's originally from Riverdale, a town in Georgia, drives for as long as 13 hours to Topeka, a town in Kansas, where Amy lives. Once they meet up, Amy sees that Malicious is dressed nicely with the smell of cologne, and he greets her with a warm personality. Malicious then continues this type of behavior towards her throughout the day, bringing Amy to eat nice food and treating her like a princess almost. After having an enjoyable time touring the town, he then tells Amy that it's finally time to rest, and that she should return home. But much to her shock, Malicious is not referring to her going back to her home, but to her going to his home in Riverdale with him. And Amy, somehow having trust in him, figures that they're just going to his place to play Roblox together and spend the night, and that there won't be any problems as she'd already told her mother that she's going to hang out with a friend. And as soon
Oh my god.
as she agrees, Malicious invites her to his car, and after a few minutes, Amy is now miles away from her home with a grown man who she thinks of as a friend. Once they arrive at the home, Amy bumps into Malicious' roommate, who we'll call Michael, who's confused seeing a little girl with a 33-year-old man who he shares the house with. He asks him who she is, and Malicious replies with that Amy is actually his stepdaughter, with Amy showing no signs of denial. Michael shrugs it off, and the two of them make their way into Malicious' room, and after making it there, Amy gets visibly stunned when Malicious suddenly locks the door shut and starts to get worried when he blinds the windows as well. Once doing so, Malicious takes her phone away, and with Amy's only way of contacting her parents now gone, he traps her in his own room, leaving her no chance to escape from the horrifying and disturbing actions that he is about to do with her. 3 days later, Amy went from an innocent young person into someone who experienced hell. As it turned out, Malicious would do disturbing things to her, making her a prisoner he'd repeatedly hurt in his own room. With the thoughts of this being her new fate and that she could never go back to her family ever again, Amy thankfully meets someone who would end up changing the entire situation. On February 24th, as Malicious went off to work, Michael stumbled upon his room, and as soon as Amy saw him, she quickly ran to him and alerted him as to what happened. Furious, Michael confronted Malicious as soon as he returned home, with them getting into a heated argument. But fortunately, Malicious gave up and let go of Amy, dropping her off at a Dollar General store with all of her things the same day. Without wasting any time, Amy would quickly scramble through her bag and find her phone, and after starting it up, it luckily had some battery left, and so she messaged her mother, who surprisingly also had a Roblox account. And upon hearing what happened, her mother instantly dialed the authorities, who were then able to locate Amy, picking her up and returning her to her hometown. With Amy now reunited with her family, the police would begin to investigate Malicious, discovering that his real name was Howard Leslie Graham, and started tracking him. And on the 1st of March, Howard would finally be arrested at his workplace, an IHOP restaurant. He would be held on 7 felony charges, including physically violating a small human, engaging in unlawful relations with someone under the legal age, and much more. And although no public records show what happened after his arrest, what clear is that he was taken into jail on multiple offenses.
I'm mentally exhausted from that video. I am just amazed at how bad these humans are and how dumb some of these girls are. Yapmaster. You know, Yapmaster has to read all the messages too. That's like the worst thing. When you think about it, he has to read all those messages. He's probably disgusted. I feel bad for Yapmaster because he has to read all that. At the same time, we also read everything too, but he has to say it out loud. Notice how Roblox is the longest video. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Can we talk about how children are just left alone by their parents? Or children for hours at a time online instead of being a parent? That's what I'm saying. They're not seeing what they're doing. Guy says no. Man, you oh my goodness, bro. Okay, see, this guy might be the same age as me. He's saying technology was introduced to older Gen Z when we were in our teens. We know how to stop and do other things. I see kids now, toddlers, using social media and Roblox as young as 3. And they're on it all day and night. That's what I'm saying. iPad kids are like, their brain is fried. Bro, I be seeing that at like restaurants. Like there'll be parents, and then the kids just like, and they're like 4 years old, and I'm just like, yo. When I was 4 years old, I didn't have that. I didn't even get to go to a restaurant at 4 years old. That's what I'm saying. The parents are the problem too, because like, you not monitoring what your kid is doing is like the biggest problem. Because if they just knew what they were doing and who they were talking to, these kidnappings wouldn't have happened. They would have been like, what are you doing talking to this person? Do you even know how old he is? That's what I'm saying, bro. You can't... I'm buying my kid a console because on a console, you can't do all these things. But then they already added Roblox on consoles, so you can't escape. No, this way, you know what? You have to buy them Nintendo product. That's what you have to do. Because Nintendo's so strict, they would never put Roblox on their console. You have to. You start with Nintendo when they're young. The Switch 5. Hey, when we get the Switch 5, whatever Nintendo console exists, I would get them that, and then they would just play that. There's no Nintendo game that allows this type of behavior, and then they, boom, perfectly normal child. Then when they're a lot older, get a computer, and then I'm gonna tell them, don't talk people online in these online games. They are all bad, evil people that will say disturbing, disgusting things to you. You are too young to be talking to these people. Majority of these people are over the age of 18, and you are only X age. So do not converse with them. If they do, you tell me right away, and then we cut this person out, block, yada yada yada. Because you leave these kids unattended, is game over. These mans will literally will dox their whole address, and next thing you know, you have some weirdo at your door kidnapping your child. Crazy video. W video for exposing all these disturbing, disgusting people, exposing Roblox as a company because they're a piece of shit company as well, because they don't care. No matter how many times people expose PDF files, they don't care until like recently, and it's been on the news where they're gonna do age verification now. But yeah, W video, so disturbing, but it had to be made so people know the damage that can be done on this game when there's no supervision of your child. Anyways, I hope you like this reaction. I was definitely passionate and heated because I do not like these people. W video, Yapmaster the best. Like and subscribe his video. And like and subscribe my video for more crazy reactions. If you have a reaction, let me know down below what video you want me to react to. And I will see y'all in next video. Peace.